Hi everyone, hello again. Hope you're enjoying the day. Yeah, sorry yesterday. That was a pretty nasty glare on the video there, huh? Well, I got the pergola cover on today, so hopefully that'll fix that problem. Once again, thank you for all the warm comments, the likes, the loves. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much, and the shares as well. That's great. I'm glad you feel that this information is worthy enough to share with other people. And if you do know somebody who is in a tough spot relative to these videos, go ahead. Yeah, please share it by all means. I think the more these videos can help people, the better. Absolutely. So today I thought we could talk about headaches and my experience with headaches. I Honestly, I don't really get headaches. I have had migraines. Things that I would probably call migraines. I can probably count on one hand how many times that has happened in my entire life. So it's rare, but I've had really, really bad headaches. Not related to hangovers, okay? I'm talking about ones that aren't related to hangovers, things like that. All right, where you know where it came from, right? Anyways, so headaches, they can actually happen a lot of different ways, and I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios to help people who get chronic headaches or migraines. Okay, migraines. That's the one that we want to get you out of, is the migraines, because those are so debilitating. And anybody knows this. If anybody in your house gets migraines, you know how debilitating that can be if you've seen it or if you've experienced it yourself. And the thing about just having problems in general is it wears not only on the person that has the problems, but also the family members that are connected to that person. It wears on to them to some extent, because you care about your loved ones, right? You don't like seeing them distressed or in pain, and when it is happening, sometimes it's really hard to let that go. You know what I mean? I think by helping people out, getting them out, helping them get out of these situations, it should improve a lot of other dynamics connected to it that you may not necessarily think about. Anyways, headaches. Here we go. So, like I said, I don't get many headaches, but I have had hundreds of clients who get headaches, migraine headaches, really bad headaches. And I've been able to get them out, okay? Have I ever not been able to get somebody out of headaches? Well, I'm sure it probably has happened at some point, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Most people are very successful at getting out of their headaches when we start working together. And so let me just talk about my thoughts on headaches. 'Cause, yeah, I have had them, and like I said, I have worked on that condition and have successfully treated it. So here are my thoughts on it. When you get tension in your body, okay, it doesn't matter where, anywhere. Because the mind and the body are connected, like, in many different ways. When you get tension somewhere, like say in your leg, your foot, or your back, something like that, that reflects up here, okay? So something is happening up here as the tension is amassing through your whole body, okay? It's almost like the head is getting tighter, like could even feel like it's in a vice. Well, as you acquire tension over time, it eventually builds up, and then you start getting these other symptoms. And these other symptoms can look a variety of different ways, right? We talked about carpal tunnel being one of those ways that it could show up. We talked about your knee problems. That's kind of like a chronic thing, but that's another way that can show up. Well, another way it can show up is headaches, believe it or not. All that tension can reflect in the head to some degree. There are some key indicators that you can look for to see where your tension level is. Probably the main one that I personally use is I look at my mind, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, if I can make my mind perfectly still, like no thought, nothing like that, I know I have a pretty low level of tension stored in my body. But if my head is rattling around, like I can't stop thinking, I'm trying to go to sleep at night, can't stop thinking, I know that there's a much higher level of tension in my body. So use that as a gauge. Can you make your mind still? How is your mind control? Think of it that way. If you just want it to go still, can you do that? Do you have that level of control? If you don't, that's a sign that you could have a certain amount of tension in your body, which your mind is trying to get your attention for, but you may not necessarily be aware that that's what it's trying to do. Okay. So there are certain areas on the body where you can go and start taking out tension, and that significantly reduces the headaches and the migraines, okay? The areas that I am thinking in particular are the neck, shoulder, the back, and a really, really good area that you may not think of is the glutes. You can pack tremendous amounts of tension in the glutes because they're so meaty, you know what I mean? So you can build lots of tension in those glutes. And remember what I said, tension anywhere in your body is going to reflect in the head to some degree, right? Well, if you go and you take a lot of that tension out of the glute because there's so much there, that's going to reflect out in the head as well too. So you can get a lot of leverage from approaching it that way. But definitely the neck, you want to make sure you get that because sometimes if the muscles are tight, they clamp this way, but they also clamp this way. They actually do this. They compress and they twist. That's kind of how these knots build, right? And so if you get that whole effect happening in your neck, you can see how it's going to affect the nerves, maybe even the circulation to some degree, right? So that's why you got to work on the neck. If you take the tension out of the back, that's going to help the neck relax a little bit more, even the low back relax a little bit more. It's also going to free up the spine to some degree. And that's going to improve those messages between your organs and your brain. It's going to clear up those lines of communication. So you'll be able to do some processing there and shed some more layers of tension. Okay, so that's if the headache is, okay, one more thing. Migraines, does it help on migraines? Can I, if somebody has a migraine right now, can I just start digging away and will they feel better? Well, there's some debate on if you should work on somebody if they have a migraine. And I suppose it would have to go with tolerance level. Usually any interaction with somebody when they have a migraine is excruciating. Just light in general could be excruciating. So I'm not sure that it would be the best thing to work on somebody if they're in the middle of it. And usually what you do is you, if the person has a history of migraines, you try to get them in the parts where they're not experiencing the migraines. So in the comfortable zone for them, when they're not there, they're not having the migraines, the headaches, that's when you take the tension layers off, right? Because that's the easiest time. Once they're in it, that's it just kind of has to go through its process first. So as you're taking this tension off, you should see a change in frequency as far as how often the headaches happen. And so let's say the person's used to getting them once a month, okay? But after you've worked, after all the tension is removed, the back is opened up, you've removed tension from the body, different areas. Now they're able to sustain it for 3 months before they start feeling that migraine, okay? And the more you work on this person, that distance between the first migraine or the last migraine and the current migraine, those should widen out. You should start getting more space to the point where it just appears to fade out completely, okay? Your width might be like 3 years now, 5 years now, something like that. But it just appears to be like, basically like it disappeared. You could think of it that way. There's another situation that happens where people get headaches, and I'm talking about migraine headaches, and I can't say that I've seen this a lot, but I have seen it. And this one is kind of a dietary related thing. So if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, you've been one of these for a long time, and you are in a situation where you're getting migraines, okay? And you've already taken out the tension in your body, you've taken it out of your neck, you've taken it out of your back, pretty much everywhere, so you know it's not necessarily related to the tension anymore. If you are in a situation, if you're vegan, vegetarian, you know, without the tension, and you are experiencing migraines, And the frequency of the migraines are getting closer together. Okay, so instead of like once every 6 months, maybe it's like once every 3 months, and now it's gotten to like once every month. Okay, if you are in a situation like that, you might want to try eating some meat. You may not want to eat the meat, and I understand that. I totally get that. However, it might have a lot to do with your health at that point, okay? So it's just a thought, an idea, something to check that you may not have thought of, okay? One way to see, or if you're like on the fence with it, one thing that you can do is there's a book out there called Eat Right for Your Type, I think is the name of it, something like that. It's an old book, been around for like 2 decades, maybe longer, at least 2 decades. I found it 2 decades ago. And in that book, it'll list a number of, I think, all the different blood types that you can be, and the diets and proteins that that particular blood needs to sustain itself, okay? And there are particular blood types which are, they can be vegetarian, and then there's other blood types which require you even eat things like red meat, stuff like that, or it's suggested to you in the book. And so you might be in a situation where your blood type is according to the book, is saying that you should have certain animal proteins in it, and you are being vegetarian or vegan. And that might give you some insight on as far as like how to adjust to deal with those headache situations, because I have seen it where the person had headaches, they got closer and closer and closer together. They started eating some fish, and then it got better. It wasn't, the progress wasn't like, oh, it's disappeared. It started to like that frequency between headaches started to widen out more. So those are some things, and I think that a lot of people probably have the tension related one. I would say most people out there probably have the tension related headache scenario, okay? The trick is to get to treat, to get the massage work, get as much tension out of you before you get to that place. Do you know what I mean? You can, it's like you're pushing it out a little bit. By doing this kind of work, you're backing out of a condition, you're moving as far away from that condition as you can, okay? Massage is one way that you can do that. But another really good way is yoga. Remember we talked about the Bikram series, the 26 postures with 2 breathing exercises at each end of it, at the beginning and end of it. That is an amazing practice. I would highly suggest that to anybody. If you want to keep moving around, the only reason I can do my martial arts at the level that I've been doing it, like I can still pretty much do the martial arts the same way I was doing it when I was young. And the only way I'd be able to do that is if I was doing yoga, if I had that, in the background over there. It's a big deal. It's one thing that you can do to really mitigate, I guess, the effects of aging, if you want to call it that. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope this information helps you. Maybe somebody that you know is in this situation, maybe it could help them as well. And again, thank you for all the likes and the loves and the warm comments. Really appreciate that. And I'll see you next time.